Hi boys and girls, welcome to our story time today. Today we're going to read Mr. Topsy-Turvy. Mr. Topsy-Turvy. Mr. Topsy-Turvy was a funny sort of fellow. Everything about him was either upside down or inside out or back to front, topsy-turvy in fact. It was all very extraordinary. Look at his hat. Can you see his hat is upside down? It's on the wrong way. Silly Mr. Topsy-Turvy. To give you some idea of how topsy-turvy Mr. Topsy-Turvy was, you ought to see his house. The front door is upside down to start with, and the curtains hang upside down at the windows. And just look at that chimney pot. All very extraordinary. Look, his house. Let's see how many things are different. So the curtains, the door, the chimney. Anything else? Three things. Three things are the wrong way. Inside is the same. Just look at the clock standing on Mr. Topsy-Turvy's mantelpiece. Isn't that the topsiest, turviest clock you've ever seen? The numbers are going the wrong way. Maybe if you've an older brother or sister in your house, you could ask them to compare this clock to another clock, to another analog clock in your house. And just look at the way Mr. Topsy-Turvy reads a book. Not only does he read it upside down, but he starts to read it at the back pages. Oh, he's so silly. He is such a silly man. You can't read a book like that. That would be me reading it like this. It wouldn't make any sense. We know the right way to read a book because we're an early start, aren't we? We do. And just look where Mr. Topsy-Turvy puts the stamp when he sends a letter to somebody. Have you ever seen anything like it? He put the stamp at the bottom, and the stamp is meant to go at the top. It is. Now, this story is all about the time Mr. Topsy-Turvy came to the town where you and I live. Nobody is quite sure how Mr. Topsy-Turvy got there or where he came from, but he did arrive because somebody saw him getting off the train. The trouble was he did it in a topsy-turvy way and got out on the wrong side and fell onto the railway line, which really isn't all that surprising, is it? Oh no, I hope he gets up fast because a train might knock into him and hurt him a little bit. Oh, he did. He got up and he's fine. When he'd picked himself up and managed to find his way out of the station, Mr. Topsy-Turvy went to a hotel to find a room to spend the night. Can you notice anything he's doing wrong in this picture? His hat is upside down and he's carrying his case upside down. He should be holding the handle and he's holding the bottom. Silly Mr. Topsy-Turvy. The hotel manager tried not to smile when he saw Mr. Topsy-Turvy walk into his hotel carrying his suitcase upside down and with his topsy-turvy hat on his head. "Good afternoon, sir," he said. "How can I help you?" Now, something you didn't know about Topsy-Turvy is the way he speaks. You see, he sometimes gets things the wrong way around. Oh, I wonder what he's going to say. Let's see. "Afternoon good," said Mr. Topsy-Turvy to the hotel manager. "I'd room alike." He should have said, "Good afternoon. I'd like a room." The manager scratched his head. You mean you'd like a room?" he asked. "Please, yes," replied Mr. Topsy-Turvy. The hotel manager understood him, so he's very happy. Eventually, the hotel manager managed to work out what Mr. Topsy-Turvy was talking about, and he was taken up in a lift to a bedroom. Then Mr. Topsy-Turvy unpacked his suitcase, put on his pyjamas, and went to bed. He was rather tired from travelling from wherever he'd come from. He's gone asleep. We better be quiet. The following day, Mr. Topsy-Turvy went round the town. But what a fuss his going round the town caused. He took a taxi from the hotel, but so confused the taxi driver, telling him where he wanted to go, the poor man drove straight into a traffic light. "Oh dear," said Mr. Topsy-Turvy, "I am sorry very." "Oh no, hope the taxi man's car is okay." Then he went into a big department store in the middle of town. He walked up to one of the counters. "I'd like a pair of socks," he said to the lady behind the counter. "You mean a pair of socks?" She smiled and showed him a pair of bright red socks. Mr. Topsy-Turvy put them on his hands. Socks don't go in your hands, they go in your feet. But I know sometimes in my family, if the children have forgotten their gloves, sometimes they put socks in their hands when they're outside to keep them warm. It's a good idea. So that's something similar that my family do and Mr. Topsy-Turvy does. Then he tried to leave, but being Mr. Topsy-Turvy, he tried to walk down the up escalator, and the people who were going up the up escalator all fell over themselves. It was a terrible topsy-turvy jungle. That would mean people probably hurt themselves. That day, Mr. Topsy-Turvy did all sorts of topsy-turvy things. He walked backwards across a street crossing and caused an enormous traffic jam. Look what he's doing in this one. He's carrying, see that cane? It's a walking stick. And he's carrying it the wrong way around. He should be holding the part at the bottom. And this part that's in his hand should be on the ground to keep his balance. He went to a library and put all the books upside down on the shelves and made everybody extremely cross. Then he went to an art gallery and insisted on hanging all the pictures upside down so he could look at them properly. There he is. He shouldn't have touched those pictures. No way, Jose. And then, after Mr. Topsy-Turvy had been in the town for just one day, he disappeared. Nobody knew how he went or where he went, but he certainly went because he wasn't there anymore. The whole town breathed a sigh of relief, but they're all very happy that he's gone. I think he's kind of funny and kind of nice. I wouldn't be happy if he went. Maybe they could teach him a few new things. What the town discovered, even though Mr. Topsy-Turvy had left, was that everything was still topsy-turvy. "Read all it about," shouted the newspaper sellers instead of shouting, "Read all about it." "News is the here," said the television newsreader, instead of saying, "Here is the news." "Morning good," people started saying to each other when they met, and do you how, instead of how do you do. Everybody was talking topsy-turvy. Can you think of something to say that's topsy-turvy? Go on, try. What do you think we could say? Will I say hello, boys and girls, topsy-turvy? Okay. Boys and girls, hello. That's the wrong way around, isn't it? So today we're going to sing or say another rhyme that we've done in school. So the one we're going to say today is the itsy bitsy spider. So I'll count to 3 and we'll say it together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And then Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the spout again. Woohoo, we're finished. See you tomorrow, boys and girls.